Okie dokie, folks. So this is me, and this is a talk called Breaking Up with Social Media, What Can Businesses Do Instead, which is very closely related to what we've been talking about today. I'm going to bore you, first of all, with a chart. Now, this is what's known as, this is a really simplified version of the digital marketing framework. And what we're showing you here is in the middle is your business with your website and potentially your blog. And the way that businesses have done digital marketing, certainly for the last 14 years, and slightly more on the social search engine side, is that they write something on their website or their blog, and then they publicize it on social media, and they include a link, and then the content gets pushed to social media, and then the links get clicked, and the traffic comes back to your blog or your website. And that's how you use social media to get people to visit your website. And on the other side, you write something on your blog, Google will index that, and if it's something that's relevant to a particular search term, when somebody types that search term in, your website might come up in the results. And if it does and they click it, then that traffic comes back to your website. So that's the two easy ways to get the people to visit your site, and it's all completely free. There's no cost involved in doing any of this. You can do all of this for nothing. And many businesses have been doing it this way. Hundreds and hundreds of thousands of businesses have been doing it this way for the last 14 years. On the social media side, Facebook opened itself up to businesses in 2007. Google have been going a bit longer than that. So that's how long businesses have had this free resource available to them, which before 2007, you couldn't do that. There was very little free marketing available. The second part of a digital marketing framework, which a lot of businesses forget about and which we've talked about today, is that once you get the traffic to your website, what do you do with it? Because the chances are that somebody visiting your site to read a blog or a page, they're not going to buy straight away from you. They're probably going to go and look at another website or click off somewhere else. So before they do that, the idea is that you hang on to their details by getting them to subscribe to your mailing list. And then once you've got them on your mailing list, then you can have a conversation with them backwards and forwards whenever you like. And again, that's another free element to the marketing framework. And this is great. And this is what driven business for 14, 15 years. Unfortunately, the social media side and now also the search engine side is starting to fail. And a lot of businesses are saying that they do not get the results they used to on social media, and search is getting worse. And there's a reason for that. And the reason for that is simply that the social media companies and Google want you to pay for the traffic. They don't want to give it to you for free. And so instead of doing what we call organic social media, they want you to pay to run pay-per-click ads. And Google don't want you to just do organic search. They want you to pay to run Google ads. And they're pretty upfront about it, but they're also quite sly in the background, because what they do is they degrade the organic service in order to get you to do this instead. So let's just have a quick look at what's happening on the social media side. Now, I'm going to use Facebook as an example, but this applies pretty much to all social media channels. So this is what we call the organic reach on Facebook. Now, organic reach means that from all of the followers that you have, this is the proportion that will actually see one of your posts. So as you can see, in 2012, the organic reach rate on Facebook was 16%. So doing some really basic maths, if you had 100 followers, 16 of them would see your posts. The rest wouldn't know you'd posted. And as you can see from that chart, it's been going downwards ever since. And 2024, we're looking at an average organic rate of about 3%, which is pretty useless as far as marketing goes. Unless you've got like hundreds of thousands of followers, you're not really going to get any traction with anything you post on Facebook, certainly on the business side, with 3%. And what does 3% look like in real terms? 3% looks like that. So as you can see, most of your followers don't even know you're posting. And that's why social media is starting to fail people, because people they know they're meant to do social media, so they keep doing social media, but they don't know this is what's going on in the background. And only 3% of people are actually seeing it. And as you can see, the direction of travel for organic reach is towards zero. And it's been that way for a long time. I can remember certainly telling my marketing clients back in 2016, 17, that we were headed towards zero. Nobody knew when, but I reckon we're looking at by 2026, organic Facebook will be pointless for businesses. If you want to use Facebook for business by that point, you'll have to pay to run ads. So that's the cheery news on social media. And to be honest, all social media platforms are doing this. They're not maybe at the same point, because Facebook was the first, but they're all headed in this direction. Now, Google search is the other side of our original chart. This is a search page from 2020 for my garden design business. And I did this for another talk at the time. And the talk was actually about how to market your business for free or for very little. And I was making the point that I've got our business on the search results for a Google search 10 times on the first page without paying any money. So the search term was garden design Ashby. We're a garden design company and we're in Ashby. So it wasn't particularly hard for us to rank for that keyword, but we are ranking 10 times. We're the first and second searches and the fourth. There's two more if you scroll further down the screen. We're three of the pictures, one of the links, and we're also the Google business link, which is that big one on the right-hand side, which is an important one for businesses to look at as well. So that was Google search in 2020. Now, 4 years later, for the talk I gave last week or the week before, I did the same search. And we are still the #1 organic search result on Google, but look where we are now. We're right at the bottom of that page. We've still got the Google business link, which is good. And we've only got another 4 links on that page. But what they've done is they've shoved a load of ads in front of us. So when somebody says, I can get you #1 on Google, that used to mean something back in the day. It doesn't really mean much anymore. Because if you look at what's there, the 2 top things are sponsored searches, are like sort of classified ads. They're not even relevant to the search because we're looking for garden design and they've given us landscapers, which is similar but not the same. And then the two ads underneath that, they are garden design companies. They're paying Google ads. They're running Google ads to be there. And they are that top one there, the one that says Garden Design East Midlands. I know for a fact that that company pays £1,000 a month to be in that position on Google searches. And the one that says 1 next to it, that's us, and I paid nothing to be in the same position. But the problem is that if there had been 3 advertisers, you wouldn't have seen my link on that first view. You'd have had to scroll down to see the first organic search result, which again, for companies that have spent a long time doing SEO to get their businesses on page 1 of a Google search is a bit of a kick in the proverbials. And it gets worse because Google are now introducing AI search, and Google will get its AI to answer search terms for you rather than clicking on other people's pages. So if you spent some time writing a blog, well, this one is when is the best time to plant daffodil bulbs, which is something that we possibly would have done on our garden design business. Instead of presenting a link to our website and getting us traffic, their AI is going to answer the question. So you go on Google and you wouldn't click anywhere. So that is why Google search is also failing people. So that's what the future looks like for digital marketing. It's a simplified diagram. There's a little bit more to it than that. But the important thing to realize is the bottom part, the subscribe to your email list part, is still free. So that's good. And now we're going to talk a little bit more about what to do instead. Okay, part 2. So marketing pillars or marketing channels, which some people will call them. On the left-hand side, everything on there is free to do. So organic social media, organic search, we've talked about. Owned media, which is email, newsletters, and podcasts. We'll talk about that in a minute. Word of mouth and referrals is also free, although sometimes referral schemes will cost you money, but word of mouth, getting reviews and testimonials and business through recommendations is all free. On the right-hand side, we've got some paid channels. There are more than these, but the common ones will be in-person marketing. So that would be trade networking, like we're doing now, trade shows, expos, that sort of thing. Print media, so printing flyers, brochures, pull-up banners, and also print advertising. We've got sponsorship and PR, which could involve looking at local events, sponsoring sports shirts like we talked about earlier, and pay-per-click ads, which is what we've already covered. Google ads, pay-per-click, social media ads, YouTube, that sort of thing. And the point about these pillars is that any business needs a selection of them in order to generate people to come to visit their business and to find leads and customers. Hang on, bear with me, caller. There we go. So this is a typical business, lovely green triangle. And this one has got 5 marketing pillars holding it up. Organic social media, organic search, print media, in-person marketing, which will be networking, owned media, which will be email, newsletters. Now, that's my business. That's Keefomatic. And that's how I generate people coming into my business. And as we've seen, as we've talked about already, 2 of those pillars are failing fast. So luckily, because I've got extra pillars holding my business up, I'm not going to be in any massive trouble. And what I will do is I'll replace organic social media and organic search with something else. But what I do see a lot of is this: other businesses with 1 or 2 pillars holding their business up. I spoke to somebody earlier in the week who said, nobody's finding me on social media. And I said, well, what else do you do? But I don't do anything else. I said, well, that's not going to work, is it? So that shows you the importance of having multiple marketing channels or marketing pillars, channeling people towards your business so that you can actually operate properly. I'm now going to briefly talk about email marketing, finally. Owned media. Owned media includes email marketing, and email marketing, which we have talked about a bit already today, is great. I'll give you 5 reasons. So first of all, it is owned media means you're in control of it. It means that there's no algorithm in the way telling you, you're only going to see 3% of people. You don't need to worry about algorithms. You don't need to worry about changes of ownership, like what happened at Twitter, or changing the rules. Basically, you can talk to people whenever you want to if they're on your list. They've given you permission to speak to them, so you can speak to them. You don't spam the hell out of them. You don't send them stuff every other hour, but you can control when you send stuff, and they will hopefully see it. It is extremely cost effective. It's much cheaper than many other marketing methods. You can pay to do email marketing, but if you've got a small list, you can certainly do it for free. It doesn't break the bank. You can invest in slightly more complicated software to help you run it, but as I say, it's still fairly cheap to do. It's a direct connection. You do speak directly to people who've asked for your information in the first place. They've kind of flagged themselves up as warm leads already, and your message does land directly into their inbox. Across all industries, they reckon the average open rate is 20% for email. The ones that I run gets 55 to 60% open rates, and either if it's only 20%, it's still a hell of a lot better than 3%, which is what you're getting on Facebook at the moment. There is a high ROI, return on investment, because, as I said, you don't spend a lot of money in the first place. I always find whenever I send emails, and I don't have a big email list at the moment, but I always get somebody comes back to me with something, and it might be somebody that I've not spoken to in over a year, but they will always come back and say, I didn't know you did that. Do you do this? I think that's how I got the journal job that I mentioned earlier, because the guy happens to be on my mailing list and I've not spoken to him for ages. And one other big plus of email marketing is it allows you to personalize the connection. If you do something on Facebook, you can't talk to individuals and you can't address them by name, but you can via email. But not only that, you can also address them by how they've approached your business in the first place. Did they buy something? And if so, what was it? Did they come to you through a particular campaign? Have they bought a particular service? My business has 4 distinct services, and I've got 4 distinct segments of my mailing list. One's for logos, one's for print, one's for web design, one's for marketing. And I can send either emails to one segment or combine the segments or send it to everybody. But each person is named. Each person, if you get an email from me, will say dear, and it'll be their name, which makes it much more engaging, and people are more likely to engage with it if it feels personal. So to sum up, social media reach is at an all-time low. It isn't working anymore. Google is favoring AI and ads over organic links these days, so that's not working anymore. So there's never been a more important time to take control of your content distribution and own your own media channels, such as email marketing. Thank you very much for listening. My marketing services are on that little list there, and if there's anybody got any questions, I'll have a go at answering them. Thank you.